There is this saying that goes, the heart of a woman is desperately wicked. Yes, woman has happened, woman has allegedly happened to King Sunny Ade. Yes, I just watched this video from somewhere, and I don't know how true it is. I don't know how correct it is. But if it is true, it is a pathetic one for somebody like our King Fuji music, King Sunny Ade, for somebody of his type experiencing this woman happening to a man. It was alleged anyway. Please, I want you to listen to the video so you hear from the horse's mouth. If actually it's true, like I said, it's a pathetic one. If it's true, it's really pathetic. Please, if you have watched to this extent, this is Tola Amplifier. Please watch to the end and get the true detail, the correct detail, the full story of what happened to King Sunny Ade. Please watch to the end, like, comment, share. Most importantly, follow me for more information, more tips like this. Please watch to the end and follow me. Thank you.
Sunny Ade, the maestro of juju music, finally broke his silence. The man who had made millions dance for decades now spoke with a trembling voice, one filled not with rhythm, but with revelation. For months, rumors had whispered through Lagos like smoke that his wife, Risikat Adejoke Adegai, the woman who had stood beside him for a year of glittering appearances and camera flashes, had betrayed him in a way that tore through his very soul. Now, the truth, raw, painful, unfiltered, was finally spilling out. He began not with accusations, but with a story. He spoke of the quiet mornings in their mansion, of the laughter of children echoing through the marble halls, of the trust that had once seemed unshakable. The world saw a royal couple, a symbol of timeless love wrapped in Yoruba elegance. But behind the closed mahogany doors of their home, something darker had begun to unravel. The glances that lingered too long, the calls that came too late, the growing distance between two hearts that once beat in rhythm, these were the early cracks in their empire. When Ade found out that the children he had loved, raised, and called his own were not of his blood, the music stopped. The guitars, once alive with the energy of the gods, fell silent. The man who could fill stadiums with his joy now sat alone in a room, staring at photographs that no longer held meaning. The betrayal was not just of a husband, but of a legacy. He had believed love could outlast fame, fortune, and the fleeting noise of the crowd. But even the greatest maestro could not conduct loyalty. Friends who had known him for 50 years said they had never seen him like this. His once confident eyes now carried the weight of disbelief. The confession came during a private interview that was never meant to go public. A moment when Ade, surrounded by old vinyl records and gold-plated awards, simply whispered, "All this time, I was raising another man's sons." The journalist froze. The silence stretched long enough to hear the faint hum of an amplifier in the corner, still plugged in as if waiting for a song that would never be played again. The one-year marriage had been brief, dazzling, and doomed. It began with fireworks over Ibadan skies, a union celebrated by dignitaries, musicians, and fans from across the continent. Social media crowned them the royal couple of juju, with pictures of Ade in tailored agbada beside Risikat's radiant gel flooding timelines. To the world, it was the perfect love story, a living legend finding peace in his later years. But within months, that picture-perfect marriage turned into a battlefield of silence and suspicion. Ade's once trusting heart began to sense a rhythm offbeat, a discord beneath the melody. The revelation did not come through confrontation. It came through accident, a hospital visit, a medical report, a DNA test requested not by him, but by a curious relative. What followed was devastation, like the sudden cut of sound in the middle of a concert. The truth, cold and merciless, revealed that none of the children he had believed were his bloodline. He described the moment as a song that ended before the first verse was over. After that day, King Sunny Ade retreated from the world. The man whose music had defined generations withdrew from the limelight, avoiding interviews, canceling performances. Fans speculated illness, exhaustion, even spiritual retreat. But behind that silence was a storm. A man wrestling not with age or fame, but with the haunting echo of betrayal. Those who saw him at his estate said he often sat by the window at dusk, watching the sun melt into the horizon, the same way his trust had melted into disbelief. On the grand piano beside him lay a single photograph of Risikat, turned face down. His aides said he could no longer listen to the songs he once wrote for her. Even the sound of a juju rhythm reminded him of promises broken and dreams undone. He did not raise his voice. He did not seek revenge. Instead, his silence became his loudest cry. When he finally chose to speak, it was not to shame her, but to free himself. Sometimes, he said quietly, the truth is heavier than fame. He paused, his eyes glistening under the low light, then added, I gave her the best years of my heart, and she gave me